It was not until he personally checked the secretary's background information the man broke down and realized the secretary was never the pure, kind top student she claimed to be. She was instead a morally corrupt hostess. Yet for such a woman, the man had destroyed his once happy and harmonious marriage step by step. Even not long ago, out of deep disappointment, his wife had stripped him of his position as deputy general manager and schemed to confiscate his shares in the company. Still, the man showed no remorse. Egged on by the secretary, he decided to start a business on his own, vowing to rub his wife's nose in it once he achieved success. To this end, he did not hesitate to pour in the last 30 million yuan he had left. He even persuaded his mother to mortgage their family house for a loan. Only then was he able to establish a new company. But just a few days later, a subordinate rushed over to tell the man the secretary had invested all the company's money in a fraud scheme. Now the scamming company had absconded with all the funds. Not only had the man lost his entire 30 million yuan without a trace, but the family house was also at risk of being repossessed. Upon hearing this, the man collapsed instantly. Filled with rage, he tracked down the secretary and demanded an explanation. However, the secretary did not realize the gravity of the situation at all. She even said that losing 30 million yuan was no big deal and that they could always earn it back later. The man was so furious he almost passed out. That 30 million yuan had been his only chance to turn his life around, and the secretary had treated it so lightly. No wonder all their money had been swindled away. He could not help but recall how, back when she was still working with him, his wife would stay up all night meticulously reviewing even a few million yuan worth of contracts over and over again until everything was perfect. Only at this moment did the man realize his wife's true excellence. Unable to contain himself, he snapped at the secretary, asking if she even knew the first thing about running a company. Her level of competence was nowhere near his wife's. Upon hearing this, the secretary also flew into a rage. She challenged the man, asking if he thought she was inferior to his wife. Then why had he been flirting with her all along? The man was left tongue-tied on the spot. He grew increasingly suspicious of the secretary's so-called top student background, so he secretly had someone look into her personal records. The results showed she was actually just a hostess, and all her credentials had been forged. The man could not hold back and confronted the secretary, but the secretary put on a pitiful act, claiming those were fake documents and that someone was deliberately framing her. However, the man directly pulled out the videos of her working as a hostess in the past and stated that he would call the police. Only then did the secretary apologize in a panic, saying she knew she was wrong and that she would definitely raise the money to pay him back. But the man's family knew full well she had no ability to come up with the money at all. They had no choice but to fly into a rage and kick her out of the house. Then they turned around and persuaded the man to go to his wife, saying that she might still help the family out of consideration for their past relationship. Yet when the man arrived at his wife's house, he found that his wife's family was entertaining her new boyfriend.